There's a big difference between a debt collector and a creditor. A creditor is that individual or that company that extended you a loan. The debt collector is when you no longer are paying that creditor, say you defaulted. Defaulted means that you missed the payment or you stop paying them altogether. Then comes the debt collector. The debt collector is that bully. Debt collectors, most of the time, they can pose as attorney firms, they can pose as servicers for a mortgage, they can pose as mortgagees, they can pose as car companies come to collect the loan, they can pose as lenders. A debt collector and a creditor are two different things. A creditor is someone that extends you credit, so that your credit card company, your mortgagee, the person that gave you the loan, the bank, those are creditors. A debt collector is the business or company or individual that comes after you when you have defaulted on your credit, when you have defaulted on your bank loan, on your mortgage loan. Then comes the debt collector. The debt collector has a long history of abusive practices, of deception, fraud. I mean, the list goes on. In 1977, Congress passed a law, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, to protect consumers, which are regular people in finance. And it must be noted that the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act is a federal law, but every state has its own consumer protection laws. So that's to protect us as individuals in doing business. So last year, debt collectors actually paid back a little bit over $24 million to consumers for participating in deceptive and fraudulent practices. While the FDCPA, or Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, is a federal law, every state has their own consumer protection laws. So that's to protect people in the financial sector. In the state of Pennsylvania, for example, the opening accounts is 4 years. So that includes mortgage loans, that includes car repossessions, that includes credit card loans. In Delaware, it's, I believe, about 6 years for mortgage debt, 3 years for credit card debt, and 4 years for auto loan. And in New Jersey, for example, the statute of limitations to collect debt is 6 years. What does that mean for you in your credit report? What does that mean for you in the repossession on your credit report? What does that mean for the mortgage loan that you defaulted on six or 4 years ago? That means that those debts are what's called bad debt, so they can no longer be collected on. Do you have questions about your credit report? Are you stressed over debt collectors constantly calling your phone and sending you mail? Learn your rights as a consumer. March 9th at 6:30 p.m., the Morris Young Men Business League will be hosting a live seminar or webinar at 169 West Fisher Avenue. The webinar will include all types of debts: old mortgages, credit cards, loans, payday loans, old cell phone bills. No debt is hands off. For tickets, email info@mynbl.org or DM Morris CEO.